Welcome back, everyone, to the State Farm Analyst Desk. We'll have an interview with G2 shortly. But first, let's talk about the game. They got their revenge versus Team Liquid and are now in sole possession of first place in Group A. So much of what we talked about coming into this game was about the early game shenanigans and the team compositions. And Yamato very eloquently put, up until this point, G2 has been a follower and not a leader. They are trying to play what they think will be in the meta. Well, we saw a different look from them in this game.
I like the approach of just grabbing the Volibear. Like, if you pick Volibear blind there, you almost instantly know that it's going into the jungle. I think if you look at the composition, I can see many moments where Kalista Lulu can just kite all of these, boys that are melee here on the front. But it was all about the early game. G2 had the decent lane matchups, and Volibear could get active, and this is what Jankos is known for.
I think what was pretty clever was that the first pick Volibear came through, and we've been seeing it so much in the top lane, but then it was locked into the jungle. We've seen it from much. I believe we've also seen it from FlyQuest so far at Worlds.
Yes.
And I think that G2 clearly decided to go back to what made them successful domestically, playing through your lanes. This is a style that they have found a lot of success with, and it came to fruition beautifully. Like, they were able to get Wunder ahead even after he lost his flash early. They were able to invest heavy ganks towards the bot side of the map. And overall, we just saw a very hard investment into early game, which heavily paid off for G2.
Talk to me about TL's perspective then in this draft. I know there was talk about Impact's champion pool and what it could do, and he does come up with a new look here, right? The Lulu, which we saw in Nagri's hands earlier as well. What do we make of this draft? Because it looks like it has some ingredients that we wanted to see, like the set for Core JJ, a real playmaker.
I think it's so tricky because we've been talking about what are Team Liquid's strengths, and I feel like G2 just saw that because they kept diving and pressuring into the bottom side. They kept having the prio, and never at any point did Core JJ have a chance to really roam around the map. I think if G2 as a team lock down those lane phases, all of a sudden Broxa doesn't look that good. I think Broxa is successful when his team is winning, but he's never the one that is going to get the ball rolling when some things need to happen. Especially on the Hecarim pick, we saw the Graves ban come in, and now Team Liquid looks very different in comparison to the first match.
Vedius, talk me through these bot lane shenanigans and these bot lane dives early on.
Well, so basically, as Yamato was saying, the whole game plan was to attack the bot side of the map. And what they did is they used the Echo to gain priority in the mid lane 1v1 matchup, and then they brought caps down on the Echo. And utilizing Ashe with the Tom Kench ultimate, you can see how easy it is for them to actually attack this bot lane. G2 had set up the stacked wave, denying a lot of farm, and this was just a beautiful collapse from Wunder. He'd already taken the top lane tower with the Rift Herald, and he had the time and opportunity to work with the rest of G2 to attack the bot lane once more. And I think that coming into the mid game, Tactical was sitting at a 1-5 scoreline. So much investment was the whole purpose was to shut down Tactical and Core JJ. And we talked about it at the beginning of the day, right? This duo is really the highlight package of TL right now. And if you can stop them from carrying, then you can shut down TL.
And to just add to that, I think these were all the question marks regarding TL kind of come in, with the Graves ban coming in, no Orianna on Jensen, Syndra's okay, but if you allow an Echo to roam freely together with the Volibear, it means that you've missed the mark on how you need to play the game, because you need to strike first in that 2v2. An Echo roaming in the Syndra matchup is like, what is going on? It's just a mid-gap.
All right, we don't have a lot of time, and I need to crown the Oppo player of the game.
Ooh.
It was Wunder, an absolute Chad in the top lane. Yeah, this was a bit suspect, though, from Broxa, but in the end, a great game from Wunder again, who we highlighted.
Well, it's fortunate because he's the player that I wanted to highlight anyway.
Okay, good.
Because,
That works out.
I think had a fantastic performance, and I think that what this really sets us up for is showcasing how talented of a player he is. And if G2 has gone back to this approach of playing through their lanes, they seem to be way more focused. They seem to be very clean today. It's very scary for teams, especially like Suning, when I think that going into that matchup, you're looking at a lane that they can quite easily play through in the Wunder versus Bin topside.
So let's now look ahead for both of these teams. Wunder had a good day. He is smiling from ear to ear. We saw two very different games out of G2 and TL, but it still means it's a 1-1 between these two teams. So that might be good for TL later in the day. However, it is very difficult for them now. They have to start by winning the next two games. If they drop any of those games, they have no chance at all of qualifying for knockout. So that's what they have to do. Can we look forward for both those teams? For G2 and what you've seen now in their games versus Machi versus Suning, and for TL and their next two games?
I feel like what it's going to come down to is just what is Machi going to do to disrupt this group? If Team Liquid want to have any success now, they need to rely on the things around them, because if Suning end on a 4-2 score or a 5-1 score. The same thing for G2, a 4-2 score. Then all of a sudden there's no chance of coming back because Team Liquid can only land on a 3-3 scoreline. So they need to hope that Machi does some damage for them.
We'll see. And it's World, so crazier things have happened. For more on G2's impressive win, Lore is standing by with Jankos.